Aiden tried to ignore the warmth creeping into his cheeks. When he took a careless bite, the ice cream smeared across his mouth. Before he could wipe it away, Zane leaned in, tilting Aiden's chin up gently. "You're messy," Zane teased, his voice softer than usual. Aiden froze, eyes wide as Zane's hand lingered at the corner of his mouth. For a heartbeat, Zane's gaze dipped to his lips, and he leaned forward, close enough that Aiden could feel his breath. Then, as though struck by sudden fear, Zane stopped himself. He pulled back quickly, forcing a laugh. "If I kissed you right now, you'd probably hit me, huh?" Aiden, flustered, shoved his hand away. "Don't be ridiculous." But his heart was pounding too hard for his words to sound convincing. Zane smiled again, but this time it wasn't smug or teasing. It was soft, almost childlike, like someone who had never been allowed to be gentle before and was only just learning how. And for a fleeting second, Aiden saw something in him, something oddly sweet, almost endearing. He pushed the thought away immediately, scowling to cover the confusion brewing inside. That night, when the house finally quieted, Aiden crept into the hallway in his socks. Destiny was already waiting in the attic, holding the magic book, his eyes nervous but determined. "You're sure about this?" Destiny whispered. Aiden nodded. "We don't have a choice." Destiny knelt quickly, flipping it open, its leather cover cracked with age. The pages rustled as he scanned them with trembling fingers. "Anything?" Aiden whispered, his voice tight. Destiny shook his head, frustration mounting. "Not yet. Love potions aren't supposed to exist in the first place." Destiny chewed his lip, still flipping pages. Symbols and incantations, diagrams of potions and countercharms, all jumbled together. He stopped occasionally, muttering to himself, then kept going. Finally, he slammed the book shut with a groan. "It could take weeks, maybe longer. I don't even know if there's a real antidote." Aiden's chest tightened. Weeks. He couldn't survive a day of Zane's embarrassing antics, let alone weeks of it. "Then we have to find another way," Aiden whispered fiercely. "Because if Zane keeps acting like this, people are going to notice." Destiny looked guilty, his shoulders slumping. "I will find it, no matter what it takes." Aiden rubbed his temples, exhaustion washing over him. "Yeah, well, you'd better figure something out, Destiny. Fast." The attic grew silent again, save for the faint creaks of the old house around them. Outside, the night pressed in heavy and still. Somewhere below, Zane was probably lying awake, daydreaming about him, and that thought alone made Aiden's face burn. Aiden slumped over his desk, fingers tugging through his hair. The assignment stared back at him, a battlefield of equations and half-erased scribbles. No matter how many times he tried, the numbers swirled into nonsense. He tapped his pencil against the paper in frustration, muttering under his breath. He didn't notice the pair of eyes on him from the window. That evening, the doorbell rang downstairs. Aiden barely lifted his head when he heard the muffled voices. His mother surprised, "Oh, Zane, what a surprise!" followed by the sound of Destiny shuffling to the hallway to eavesdrop. "Zane," Aiden muttered, surprised. Before he could move, the door to his room creaked open. Zane stepped inside like he owned the place, hands stuffed casually into his pockets. "You looked like you were struggling earlier." Aiden blinked, caught completely off guard. "What? How do you even know I was struggling?" Zane tilted his head, his grin annoyingly smug. "I pay attention. You were frowning so hard in class. I thought your face would stick that way." Aiden bristled. "If you came here just to insult me, the door's that way." But Zane didn't move. Instead, he pulled up a chair and sat down beside Aiden's desk. "Relax. I'm here to help. Let me see it." Aiden hesitated. Every instinct screamed that letting Zane into his space was a bad idea. But the unfinished assignment loomed over him like a threat, and Zane's gaze was surprisingly steady, almost earnest. Reluctantly, he slid the paper across. Minutes passed. Zane leaned over the assignment, explaining in low, careful tones how to break down the problem. His handwriting was messy but fast, lines of numbers and steps appearing across the margin. Cole, for once, didn't argue. He just listened, silently impressed. When Adrien finally solved one of the questions on his own, he glanced up and froze. Zane wasn't watching him anymore. Instead, he had a scrap sheet in front of him, pencil moving in smooth, practice strokes. "What are you doing?" Adrien asked, curiosity breaking through. Zane looked up sheepishly. "Nothing. Just sketching while you finished that one." He held up the paper. Adrien's breath caught. It was a sketch of him. His messy hair falling into his eyes, head bent slightly in concentration. The lines were quick but alive, capturing something Adrien hadn't realized about himself. "You draw?" Adrien asked softly, stunned. Zane smirked, but there was a nervous flicker in his eyes. "There's a lot you don't know about me." Adrien studied the drawing again, heart hammering in a way that confused him. "You're good. Like, really good." Adrien shrugged, trying for casual. "I used to write comics when I was a kid. Secretly. Still do sometimes, but not as much. Doesn't matter anyway." Adrien's jaw dropped. "You write comics? Don't get too excited," Zane said quickly. "They're just dumb scribbles. Not like anyone would ever want to see them." But Adrien leaned closer, the corners of his lips twitching into a smile. "I want to." For a moment, Zane just stared at him, caught between amusement and something softer. Then he shook his head. "Not happening."